Okay, hey guys, this is International Master John Bartholomew. You know me as Finns, and it is Tuesday, March 1st, first of the month, and I'm playing Title Tuesday on chess.com. So every month, first Tuesday of every month, chess.com hosts this tournament for title players. And I've never played a complete Title Tuesday before. I entered last Title Tuesday in February by mistake, but I've never completed one. So I'm finally getting around to doing that, and I want to stream it and talk you guys through the tournament and have some fun while we're doing it as well. So we're starting the stream up here. Looks like, looks like the stream is functioning well. I see Team Scandy is already in full effect there in the chat. How you guys doing? Give me a little shout out. Make sure my audio and everything is working as usual. Good to see lots of familiar faces. It's almost 7 o'clock p.m. Central here in Minnesota, and we're starting in less than 10 minutes. So if you're watching this on the archive, you can feel free to fast forward to the start time. In fact, down below, I'm sure someone will put a link to when the tournament actually starts. I might play a bullet game or two just to warm up. All right. Yep, we got people checking in from everywhere. I know this isn't a European-friendly time. It's like 2 a.m. Central European time right now. But hey, what can you do? You can always watch this later if you miss it live. Audio's good. Everything's good. I like to hear that, guys. Let's bring the fire today, huh? What do you guys think? Play some exciting chess? I have one B3 on the board behind me. I played a few Blitz games yesterday, and I'm feeling good. I'm well rested. I don't have coffee. It's kind of late, but I got my tea and I got my water. I'm good to go. Seeing as how we're so very close to the start, there's 8 minutes to play. I'm probably just going to play one or two really quick bullet games. You can see the list of players here. We've got Big Bad Hikaru Nakamura leading the field. To Vladimirovich, I don't know who this is. Is that Andrakin? Dmitry Andrakin? It very well could be. Perennial 2,700 plus player. Very strong. This player, Ming Tran, IM, very strong. I see them in the top of the Blitz and Bullet leaderboard. RLH2 is Robert Hess. Sidorowski, not sure who that is. Could be Julio Sidora. Alexander Lenderman, Zviad Zoria, Daniel Naroditsky. A pretty American-heavy field. Makes sense because it's evening right now for us. And we've got 46 players in total. Let's play one game just to warm up here. Make sure my screen capture is working all right and everything. Let's see. Someone want to challenge me. Okay, Keyboard Shortcuts challenged me. He was like very fast on the ball. So you're the lucky player, Keyboard Shortcuts. Let's go E4. And, ooh, yeah, he's giving me a taste of my own medicine. I'm going to react very timidly and give this opening the respect it deserves. I've heard it's pretty decent. I've heard it's a dangerous weapon if white doesn't know what they're doing. So I'm going to react with caution. And actually, I could have taken B7. That's a great start to this tournament. Or this warm-up before the tournament. Okay, I think I would have kept my bishop if I were you, Keyboard Shortcuts. But this position maybe is all right. It's just you got to be careful whenever you're opening the position in favor of the two bishops. That could lead to some problems if you're not on the ball. So I'm attacking the black queen on D8. I might try to go queen B5 next, which would put pressure on B7 and also C6. And yeah, I think queen B5 is quite good because not only are there threats here, but also maybe bishop C5. Like I could play bishop C5 right now. I think I'm going to hold off on it though. Queen E5 might be a possible reply, so let's just regain the material. Yeah, we're still hitting C6 and B7. Oh, there we go. Syntax in here with the fire emoji. Thank you, Syntax. Bring in the heat. Love it. So here we're skewering the queen and the rook. Let's take this guy off his hands. And maybe rook E1 next and just pin this knight on E5. Can I crash through? I can almost crash through, but I think I can play F4 and attack this pin piece. Pile on the pin piece. That's useful alliteration for you guys. Okay, so we win that game. And 5 minutes till start. Maybe we'll play one more if someone is dying to play and wants to challenge. We ran through the field. Title Tuesday is pretty self-explanatory. I should mention that the time control is 3 minutes with a 2-second increment. So that's the same time control that's used in the World Blitz. So it's I think it's nice because you've got that 2-second increment, so the games don't come down to like pure time scrambles. You'll see a lot of games get low on time, of course, with only 3 minutes, but you won't see a lot of like pure flagging, I don't think. So thank you for tuning in, Baggy Pants Man, Tekken, Scott, Anton, R.Y. Siegel, David, Zach. Glad for you guys to join us. Anybody else want to play? I'm soliciting matches. I don't know if my settings will allow you guys to challenge me, but keyboard shortcuts seem to succeed, so. Oh, hey, Coach Amur and Kevin. I don't know, Coach Amur. It should be possible. Rales is checking in from Serbia. Love it. Do you think you'll play Hikaru, John? That would be awesome if I did. Well, let's just see where I'm at in the tournament, because if I am low enough, maybe I'll even get him in the first round. That would be cool. What's my blitz rating right now? I'm not sure what my blitz rating is. Okay, so I'm number 18 out of 53, so I'm going to get paired down in the first game, no question. But you never know. If I do well enough, maybe we'll get a matchup with the man himself. Can you go for some Kings Indian games? I'm not going to be playing the Kings Indian as black, I'll tell you that. Too risky, man. Yeah, I can't do that. I don't have any knowledge of the Kings Indian from the black side. Just looking at my challenges here. Zoras. Zoras challenged to a 1-0 game. Okay, I guess we can do this one. We got to hurry. Okay, I'm playing D4 against you, Zoras. Tournament's going to start in less than 3 minutes, I believe. Oh, he aborted. Okay, we'll just ride this out. I don't want to be in the middle of a game when the event starts. Up to 56 players in the field. Yeah, Kevin, we'll probably have to play some other time because I think a 2-1 game could potentially go too long. Thank you for checking in from Brazil, Vander. We've got 157 people watching. Great to see. Thank you, Constantine. I'll do my best. I'll do my level best. So anyone who's titled can enter this tournament. So you see people with even some of the lesser titles like National Master counts for this event. That's a USCF title, 2200 plus USCF. So it truly is a titled event, Titled Tuesday. This guy has a pretty high rating for a FIDE Master. Renato Terry Lujan. This is what's cool about online events. Sometimes you get players who, like, over the board are maybe not as strong as some GMs, but they can hang with them in blitz and stuff. So I like that. It mixes up the field quite a bit. Thank you, Thor. Brandon is watching from Wyoming. Because what else would you really do in Wyoming? Just kidding. Wyoming is beautiful. You'd probably be out exploring the fabulous countryside. And yes, thank you to Kazi, aka Sharing, for the thumbnail. She made some Team Scandy thumbnails and artwork that I've been trying to put to use for a while, and this is the first opportunity I have to use the Team Scandy thumbnail. So check out that thumbnail when this video gets posted, because there's some neat details, like she even snuck in my Starbucks cup and things of that nature. The Berserk icon from Lee Chess. A+ attention to detail. Hey, Joe. You're the Blackmar Daymar Gambit enthusiast, aren't you? From the UK. And he's not deterred. It's 1 a.m., but he's watching. Cool. Selfo is from Chile. Very good. Can't remember a Chilean viewer before, although I'm sure there has been one. Christoph from Poland. Zuri from Ohio. Someone's watching from LA traffic. This is truly international. International Team Scandy love. You know, forget that Chris Brown song, that really bad Chris Brown song, International Love, where all he does is just list cities in the U.S. Doesn't hardly list any international cities. Forget that. This is the real international love. Okay, so we're playing David Arenas, 1224. First game. And I'm leading with what I'm best at here. Scandy, okay? Central destroyer line. Trying to destroy White's central play. I can take on d4 here, but I can also keep the tension if I want. So I'm going to play knight c6. And if they play c4, I can play queen e4 check. and then white would have to block and I could take on d4. I think that's promising. Yeah, bishop e3. I think taking on d4 is fine. If I don't take on d4, they might play c4 and attack my queen. So probably a good chance to do it. Just going to see if there's any other moves that I'm going to consider playing here. Nah, let's take. And let's take again. So probably bishop takes. My queen on d5 does a good job of observing this g2 pawn. Okay, so we're perhaps having some early trades here. I think I'm going to... I think I'm going to play knight f6, actually. Yeah, knight f6 looks like a good move. Just defending the queen on d5. All right, he pins. Be aware of. I could play something like bishop f5 to attack c2 if I want. I'm actually leaning towards doing that because let's take. Now, this knight might jump into b5. That's obviously an idea. Some time attacking this pawn, and I can castle queenside. I suspect they're probably going to castle queenside as well, which they do. And let's do the same, shall we? Yeah, let's castle. He might take on f6 and just try to play for an endgame. But he's content with development here. Okay, let's drop back and guard this guy. David Arenas. It's a very small flag from Colombia. Potentially trying to chase me down, but I don't think I'm that worried yet. I can go bishop d6. I could play a6 maybe. Actually, let's play h5. I'm just going to put a stop to any h5 business from white. So he could take on f6, as I was saying, and try to damage my structure, but I would get 2 bishops in return. I think I'm largely okay with that. Wow. Is that I can't play b6 due to bishop a6. I probably should have thought about that. I should have considered that in more detail. I guess... yeah, he's got a point. This is annoying. Okay, I'm gonna just develop. I'm gonna say, all right, have the a pawn, and we'll try to develop here and make the best of this situation. Bishop to d4. Logical. I might need to play c6 just to rule out knight b5. Yes, Wandering Winder. I just hung a7. That was bad. So we're going to try to come back here. I might have to make use of my queenside pawns, maybe b5 at some stage. I wish I could go bishop f4 check, but white's just going to sidestep at king b1. So I don't really see what that achieves. Should I play that? Okay, let's just come here. Uncovering the file. It'd be very nice to play knight g4 too, but I hang g7 whenever I do that. So my play has stalled for the moment. I'm going to pre-move this capture. He could bring his rook into e7, but honestly, I'm not that concerned about that. I could always play bishop d6 and attack the rook if I wanted. So no big deal. And he is going to challenge me on that. Okay, but if I just do bishop back, what are you going to do? Could also give a check here. But I think I want to keep that check in reserve, quite honestly. So, yeah, let's just do this. See where that rook goes. He's persistent. Okay, let's give a check now. He sidesteps. b5 worth considering. Then at bishop d3 I could take here, but b5, bishop b3, b4. Maybe nothing doing there. Just going to go like this. Could try knight a4 now, but I think bishop back to c7 once again. If g3, I'll also bring the bishop back to c7. Guard that vulnerable b6 point. I don't know what these things mean. These, like, dashes. Oh, connection. Okay, that's connection. I see. b5, b4, still considering it. But maybe not leading to much. Okay, we're played. No nonsense. Just attack the bishop. Rook d2, perhaps? Guard. I wouldn't like it if there were wholesale exchanges that took place down the D file. That doesn't seem good for me. Bishop c5 he likes. Okay, what about b5 here? Let's do that. And if he takes d7, I can take with my knight, and then both of his bishops would be hanging, is my point. So I think he's got to play bishop b3, which he does. Any tactics? Take, knight e4. Looks decently active. I'm going to try that. Wonder if he can play bishop takes f7 then, though. Okay, I'm going to do this first. Knight e4, he might have had bishop takes f7. Wasn't sure. So I decided not to tempt fate. Okay, let's go like this. So we remain up or down a pawn, but some chances to hold, maybe. Let's bring this back. We're going to have to use our powers here, guys. Let's see if we can get a swap on our own terms. He's playing very quick. Fast player. Let's bring this pawn up. Okay, let's do this. Probably going to play c4, but then I can play b4 and try to slow him down somewhat. Okay. Trying to improve our position somewhat. He can't move the knight because I win f2. Okay, check, and then I'm going to take this outside pawn. This might be a chance. This could be something. Check, he is there. It's annoying. I think I can do this. If he goes here, I take, and if he takes, I have... I'm not sure this works, actually. He can go knight e3 back to c2. It didn't account for that, but it's kind of unclear still. He believed me, though. Interesting. Okay, let's come here. Attack that pawn. This endgame is sharpening up. I have 7.6 seconds left, as you can see. Okay, let's go here. Attack the g3 pawn. Let's do this. Attack the knight. What? Can you do that? I don't think you can do that. So the point is I'm going to go here and then get the knight back to d6. If he queens, I go check and I fork. And I win the endgame. I can still do this. And now I can promote. If he promotes, then I'm getting check. And king c4, queen c3, win the queen, and game over. I had knight d6 there as well, but this is clearly winning. Wow, so close call right there. Yeah, we maybe bluffed him in the endgame. I think at the moment when he played king b4 and I won the a-pawn, I'm not sure that my a-pawn was actually going through. So just to show you what I mean, if I can go back to this game. So key moment right here when after his a4 move, I played c4 check because there's this tension between the pawns. If I were simply to take on a4, he's going to take back and he has a potentially winning outside pass pawn. So c4 check, take. If he had taken, I was going to take this way and have a misdirection recapture. So he did this, and then I gave a check. So a crucial line here is if here, a3, he plays knight e3. I think he just didn't see knight e3 at all. But the point is if a2, he has knight c2, and he can stop the pawn. I have some king activity then. Like maybe I can go king e4, king d3. Or maybe I can try to create some trouble, but he has this pass c pawn. I have a feeling that's probably winning for white, unless I'm missing something. Thank you, guys. Glad to get that first victory. Yeah, I played the opening a little passively. I'm trying to remember what I had for my analysis in this line. Because this line with bishop e3, it's basically equal, but black does have to be slightly careful because we're down like a move in development. White already has their bishop out. We don't. Maybe right here I should play like bishop e6 instead of bishop f5. Because bishop f5 hit the c2 pawn, but when his bishop got to c4, my bishop had to go passive back to g6 and defend the pawn. So it probably could have been better. All right, I'm going to close this board while we wait. Let's see if we can pull up any games to watch. Because there's always like a game or two in progress. Let's watch Maxim Delugi. He's always entertaining. Atlas with the fire emojis. I love it. I know I do need to chessable that line. I'm sure I looked at it. I need to chessable it. So Dlugi is playing black here. Looks like he is probably going to win. Wow, knight h1. That doesn't work, does it? So if king takes h1, his idea is king f2, trying to like stalemate the black king. Bishop f7. Yeah, Dlugi's not even going to take it yet. This is sharp. Because Dlugi's dilemma here is like, if he promotes on h1, then white will take it, of course, and then try to run this king over and take these pawns. Okay, he's going to go for it now. So white's going to bring their king up, probably bring their king over to b4 and then push f7. However, black's bishop will defend b3, so I think black's going to win. Yeah, because he gets king c2 in, and he takes the pawn. His bishop can always come to d5 to block. White's not fast enough here. So white was losing by a tempo or two in that case. Nicely done by Dlugi. Dlugi on ICC is like usually in the 26 to 2650 range in the 5-minute pool. Dude's like really good. And he has a show for ICC, so he commentates on his games. What happened with Hikaru? Was Hikaru talking in the chat? Oh yeah, Hikaru said, wow, so bad. Oh, gotta close these games. There we go. Okay, so I am playing Vladimirovich. Is this Andrakin? I think it's Andrakin. Someone might want to confirm with me in the chat, but this is a big gun. This might be the highest rated player I've ever played in Blitz, like in a proper Blitz game. Okay, I'm going to play Queen C2, just defending the pawn on C4. He has a 2743 chess.com rating. Yikes. But that doesn't phase us here on Team Scandy, does it? No siree. Okay, he's choosing a pretty modest continuation, and so am I. Let's go e3. Often white will drop the queen back to e2 in this line. I think it is Andrakin, right? Okay, so here, maybe knight b4 could be a possibility. I kind of want to rule it out with a3, to be quite honest. Not really sure I should be afraid of that, though. He might go for some... Nah, let's play it. We'll have the peace of mind to not have to worry about knight b4 coming into c2. Because if knight b4, if I had to play knight a3, I think that's awkward for me. I wouldn't be able to kick his knight so easily. Okay, let's bring the rook over to d1. Typical plan for white in this line. Queen back to e2, knight out to c3. Try to push for e4 if you can, although black will usually attempt to frustrate that plan. So here, again, thinking about queen back to e2. I'm going to do it. Looking to get knight c3 in with tempo next move. Queen b5, so he offers a trade once again. How great of a trade is that? So take. I can play like knight here, but he has bishop e4. Take. I can also play knight c3. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. I like endgames. This looks like a semi-endgame to me. Oh, he takes with a knight. Okay, so that's his plan. I thought he was going to take with a pawn for some reason. I was under that impression. But he takes the other way. All right, let's develop. Pre-move this capture. Normal moves. That's right, David. Yeah. Ah, Eric is commentating. Cool. The chess bra. Let's see if I can make him proud. Or if I can swallow this the string of this tea bag. Okay, knight d5. I need to protect the pawns, clearly. d2 or b2? I'm going to go bishop d2. It's not a glamorous looking move, but defends the pawn. I can try to go c4 and unwind. This knight I want to jump into e5 if I get a chance. So he's going to play to blockade. Makes perfect sense. Knight e5. Yeah, knight e5 is not doing much, is it? You can just play f6. I feel like I almost need to play bishop f1 here. Yeah, I think I will. Sort of passive, but I'm trying to go c4. I need to control that square. If he attacks my knight, like bishop g4, I'll play king g2, and then try to go h3. If he plays bishop e4, probably knight e1 in that case. Okay, so he's going to install the knight here. c4 or something else. Yeah, let's go c4. Just advance. I need to gain some space. If my structure is not moving, I just have a worse structure, I feel. So I think this is almost necessary. All right. D5. D5 might drop a pawn. Knight e5, I could end up with hanging pawns, but that may not be so bad. Okay, let's send the knight in. I've got nothing to lose here, so I'm just going to let it all hang out. Okay, so I could play knight d7, but he's just going to go rook f8. No big deal for him. d5. d5 is the move I'd like to play if it works out. I'm not entirely sure about it. Okay, let's try. If bishop f6, I'm thinking f4. Otherwise, that structure doesn't look like it's going to resolve in my favor. So I feel like I got to advance in the middle and try to make something happen. Yeah, and if bishop f6, I'm going to go f4, try to prop up that knight for the time being. This knight is a little offsides. He could play knight b2 and try to get it into d3. Okay, so this one. I almost feel like I need something sharp here. Knight d7 again is tempting, but just going to play the rook over. Nothing doing there. Maybe g4? G4 take. And you can take with the pawn. We're losing material in that circumstance. So probably got to move the knight. Okay, I'm going to play this back. I wasn't liking knight d3 because I felt like he could take and then play c4. So I'm going to try to put the knight here. Not liking this position. Maybe just bishop here, right? This is not looking good. Counterplay. I need counterplay. Badly. Okay, let's send this up. He can just take it, unfortunately for me. Okay, knight h4. I just played that so his bishop would be on an undefended square. That's like the only reason. Okay, check. Is check doing anything? Nah, check is just taking away a square for me to potentially use. Knight b2, rook e1. At least I'm not losing an exchange for the moment. Send this over. Yeah, getting that light square bishop is really nice for him. Could I play rook c4 here? Rook c4 take, rook takes e4. I'm going to try it. My position's probably losing anyways, so I might as well give it a shot. Can escape through c2, can't he? Knight takes e1, take e4, knight c2. Was thinking his knight might be trapped. He also has even g5 there. He's just going to play it safe, though. Makes sense. Okay, let's take this guy. This is painful. Getting tortured right now at the hands of the two bishops. Probably just a6 now. Straightforward. Bishop f6. Not much I can do. Try to blockade. Rook d8. Let's hope he doesn't notice his rook hanging. He could sacrifice the exchange and still have a very good position here, though. If he really wanted to. Let's put this majority to work. Try to get something going. Attack f5. Ah, nicely done. Yeah, I'm going to resign or lose on time. He just outclassed me there. You could tell who the stronger player was in that one. I didn't put up much of a fight either. I felt like my position shouldn't have been as tangled as it turned out to be when he went knight d5 to b6 and then into a4. I got a really awkward position here. Like, my pawns never quite did the moving that I would have liked them to do. So, yes, this is the second game. I won the first one, and I got crushed in this one by one of the best players in the world. Yeah, you're right. You're right, David. He didn't do anything spectacular, but he just played some good moves. He probably took advantage of my hesitancy at certain moments, Like a3, I'm not sure this move is really necessary. I played it to stop knight b4 because it seemed to me like knight b4 could be a concern. But these micro errors against a good player can quickly add up to just a bad position. So I think that's largely what I experienced at this moment. Maybe here I should decline the queen trade. It crossed my mind to play like queen e1 and then try to develop knight c3 with tempo. But it must be said that black is very well developed, more so than me. I've got the 2 center pawns to his 1, but black is leading in the development department. Bring up Naka's game. Okay. Let's check him out. He's playing Luke Harmon Velati, trying to win. Okay. So he's going over. Okay, that's a double attack on these pawns. Luke Harmon has the passed h-pawn. Maybe he can swindle something here. Well, I mean, white's got to be careful, right? Okay, knight comes back. What about knight takes g4? Knight takes g4. If knight takes, bishop takes, king takes, he's got h2. You got to try that, right? Yeah, absolutely. So Nakamura could take on g4 and then play king g3, try to blockade. But black has 2 connectors. That's not at all clear. Maybe Luke Harmon can sneak something out of this. I mean, I think almost any result is possible here. Okay, so h2, king g2, knight takes e3. Bishop back to c8. He's going to go after this pawn. Probably knight f5, attack d4. Knight takes d5. White is winning a lot of pawns. And you know Hikaru, like any chance he'll get, he'll try to grind something. Okay, black takes on a6. Probably wise. I wonder if we'll see like 2 knights versus a bishop. 2 knights versus a bishop ending. And Hikaru will play for however long is needed to win that. He won't be handing out any free draws. Make him claim a draw by 50 moves. Atlas, this event is 9 rounds. So there's no time limit, but it's 9 rounds. Sometimes you get games that go really long. Like routinely in Title Tuesday, you'll see games that go 100 plus moves. And the next round doesn't start until all the games are over for the previous round. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. We've got 322 viewers. Sorry I couldn't take down Andrakin. I know you guys would have gone crazy if I had been able to do that. Looks like Nakamura's going to win this. Yeah, definitely now because black did not succeed in eliminating that last pawn. So he's just casually bringing up his forces. And Luke Harmon, very good player, but he's going to go down here. Just don't play d7 yet if you're white. You got to wait for your opportunity to advance that pawn. You don't want to allow black to sacrifice it because 2 knights versus a lone king is a draw. It's possible to checkmate with 2 knights versus a lone king, but it's not forced. And any reasonably decent player will not lose in that endgame. Okay, and it looks like Luke Harmon just resigned. Yeah, his bishop has run out of squares. See that? Like, he can't go to any of these squares safely, nor can he move his king. Okay, I think the next round has started. And I'm playing Martina Anakita. Okay, let's play d4 again in this game. Good player, 24-14. We're both sitting on the same score. Yeah, I'm going to play e4. We're just going to transpose into a Pirtz. I'm going to choose a rather modest continuation and prevent black's counterplay with b5. Ah, he's going for like a hippo type line. Okay. So let's do this. Try to threaten something here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to swing my knight over to g3. This is a really flexible setup that black is employing, and I'm going to try to respond by swinging my knight over to a more useful potential square. Let's go here, because I don't think with the pawn on e6 my bishop was really doing too much anymore, so I'm just going to withdraw it. I'm thinking queen e2 now. Yeah, e5 is premature, so let's just go queen e2, keep the tension. Yeah, Joe, I didn't play e4 this game. I'm sorry. I probably will at some point. At some point in this tournament. Okay, so e5 now. How do we feel about it at this moment? It still might be a bit premature. I think I'm just going to play c3 and keep my central formation intact. Let's pre-move this move in case Matinia Anakita takes there. I do like my light square bishop and my queen aiming at that a6 pawn. That's useful. I feel like I should castle sometime soon. Probably now. Just do it. I mean, I'm not going to castle queenside, and keeping my king in the center doesn't seem logical. Okay, so considering moves like bishop f4, probably that's the natural square for the bishop. Let's do it. I could have gone to g5, but I'm not really threatening much. And he's going to try to change the pawn structure, so let's take. And I'll probably pull the bishop back to e3 here after. He's going to take with a knight. Interesting. All right, well, let's do this. Now, I could play bishop g5 and maybe even try to eliminate that knight, but my knight is a bit misplaced. I think for now I should just do this. c4 would be interesting here. Bishop takes c4, knight takes e4. But I believe after knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, he would lose the a6 pawn. So somehow I doubt that he goes for that. Okay, so h5. Ambitious move. I mean, h4 is irritating. I could play h4 myself, but I feel like I should play h3 or something instead. His threat is just to go here and make me forfeit a pawn, though. What if I play f3 and then here? I'm not sure about that line. It's a good move by black, h5. Forces me to a decision. Okay, I'm going to play this, but I'm really not liking h4 followed by knight h5. We'll see. I might be all right there, but I worry about the f4 square in particular. The greatest game I have seen of you, and Draken is one of the best. I think he played very positional chess. I agree. His strategic play was several notches ahead of me that game. He seemed like he had everything under control. The changes in the pawn structure didn't seem to bother him whatsoever. Masterfully played. Okay, so a5. So he's just trying to take away the threats on a6 so he can centralize. Okay, let's do this. I'm expecting knight h5. I mean, I think this is a good plan for black. Okay, let's go bishop b5. I'm going to try to use the d7 square if I can. I think for that reason, he'll probably play a rook to d8, and we might have some wholesale exchanges. Although I could maybe play bishop g5 if I want. It's going to go there. Okay, so offering a trade. I could trade and then play queen b5, looking for a swap. But I think first I should include this knight. This knight is feeling left out, so let's get him in the action. Maybe send it up through g4, you never know. It crossed my mind to maybe play g3 to keep the black knight out of f4, but I didn't want to have my knight on h1 tied down to the defense of the g3 pawn. So that's why I preferred to play knight f2. f5, here we go. All right. Take, check. Anything doing there? Or bishop g5? Let's go bishop g5. Attack this pawn. Maybe he'll play just bishop f6, but this seems intriguing. So not only does this attack here, but also it keeps an eye on d8 as well. Okay, let's take. Now here I was thinking take on c6 and then take on f5. He can maybe take with the rook, though. I don't know. Let's see what he does. Knight f4 would be a massive blunder because of queen c4. Okay, let's do this. Takes with the rook. Okay, so now he's got this weak e-pawn, which I can hopefully try to exploit. Queen e4, very tempting. But I guess I have g4 at the end of the line I'm thinking of. Okay, I'm going to do this. This is a little bit conservative, but I think this endgame is just good for me if the queens come off. Note that if he plays h3 trying to damage my structure, I have g4 forking the rook and the knight. I think that's a key point. I also might try to go rook d6, attacking these two pawns. The structure on the queen side very much favors me. This pawn on b6 is a liability in the endgame. I just gotta take care of with his counterplay involving knight f4. So I might even play h3 myself in the coming play here, just to make sure that he can't get anything on this wing. Like, yeah, I think here h4 would... maybe not. Maybe I don't have to do that. Might go c4, huh? Okay, I'm going to do this. I think this is all right. Let's encourage the swap. I don't want him playing c4 and then landing the knight into d3. And I got to hustle, too. I've got 21 seconds to his 51. He's up 30 seconds. Still liking my position. Knight e6. Okay, let's do this. Attacking the knight, attacking b6. Probably get the king up to g2 soon. I see an interesting tactic. If king f7, I can take, and if he takes f3, I take e6 because I have knight g5 check at the very end of that sequence. So this is looking kind of nasty for him. And he plays a passive move. Okay, let's just quickly do this. He's trying to keep everything together. I'm going to go c4 just to make sure he can't pull that pawn up to b5. I'm going to try to press my time advantage here, too. I think that's going to be important. Let's bring this up and attack the e5 pawn. It's hard for him to keep everything together now. Let's go here. Trying for rook d6. Looking for that. Yeah, now this pawn is, I think, going to fall. Let's take it. Let's come here, attack these two pawns. Let's take that one. Okay, let's come here. Go here, maybe rook d6 in the future. Could be a threat. Play b3, just solidify everything. I'm going to improve my king a little bit. Get him up and into the action. Let's go here, seeing as how it's hard for him to move. Let's do this. Take that. Take here, check. Yes, we can. Let's do this. Okay, so we're cruising here. Let's push. If he takes it, I have knight e4, which is very nice. Can get this pawn all the way up to a6. Just give it a check. And then I'm going to go rook over to b6 and play rook b7 is my hope. King f6, I have knight e4 potentially. Rook b8 should win. Yeah, I think that's going to be game over. Can't stop the pawn from promoting. He's got maybe some outside stalemate chances, but nothing to write home about at all. Okay, so we win that one. I like to win games like that. Those are my favorite types of chess games to win. The kind of slower, strategic ones where you grind your opponent down. And I think Black's difficulties were highlighted after the queens were swapped off. So, yeah, like right around here when I play queen e4, I think this endgame is just bad for Black. All I have to do is take care on the king side because, as I was explaining, b6 is a huge weakness, much more so than, say, my b2 pawn. This structure, a4, b2, c3, almost always better than a5, b6, c5. And also Black had a weakness here, potentially weak h-pawn, isolated e-pawn. So it was about minimizing the risks on the king side from that moment forward. So I'm satisfied with that game. Let's take a look at Nicolas Hushin. Whoa, did not mean to pull up that. I wanted to just look at this game. So this is Nicolas Huschenbeth, one of my former opponents from a match playing against Mosaic 92. Thanks, Nicholas. And thank you to Romulus as well. So we're 2-1 so far. Looks like you're gaining weight. No, I don't think so. I am not gaining weight, I can tell you that. I weigh like an even 160 pounds. So this game was a draw. What else is going? I think that's the last one. So let me just close out of that. All right, and we have Grandmaster Conrad Holt, very good player. Yeah, he's beaten us before, but today is a new day. Let's see what we can do. Let's play d5 against him. Previously, we played a Slav. He's very consistent. He likes his openings. He sticks to them religiously. So let's see what he throws at us today. Yeah, I'm going to take on c4 again. I know we had a game previously in this sort of thing. Let's go bishop f5. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play a bit of a sideline. I'm going to try to be the one surprising. Okay, so I'm going to play knight a6 and then send this knight into b4. Now here they can play bishop takes c4 because knight c2 would actually lose me the game. Queen takes c2, followed by mate on f7. So, yeah, this is like a little sideline you can think about employing. I think I can play bishop c2 here, but I think... Yeah, I'm going to go bishop here first. So bring the bishop out, just pressurize his knight. This line is not particularly good for black, but it is solid, and for a blitz game, I'm hoping it's like relatively easy to play. Okay. So take on e5, knight back to d7. He's going to play e4, followed by f4 thereafter. I'm probably tempting fate if I do that. Okay, I'm going to do this. Just a prophylactic move. I don't want him to play e4 with tempo on my bishop, so that's what I'm addressing with this one. D-Wretch just narrowly lost to Naka. Yeah, he's good. Conrad, he's very good. Okay, knight d7 maybe. Here he's threatening to take and then play e5, so obviously I have to be heads up about that. Knight d7 looks reasonable. Let's do it. I really hope he doesn't squish us with f4. I might have wandered into something bad here. Yeah, f4. I saw this move like right after I played my last move. Yikes. Okay, so what can I do here? Take, bishop c5 check maybe? Okay, I'm going to do this. I don't want to spend too much time. I'm already down on the clock. This guy's very good with the clock. So I need to play aggressively. Even if I'm playing suboptimally, I got to keep the pressure. Keep the tempo going. Okay, I'm going to pull my queen out here. Just trying to go bishop h5 should he push f5. Full-scale assault. I'm still worried about f5, but as I said, I can't just cower and play like h6 and bishop h7. Wow, g4. He says, I don't want just a piece. I want the whole thing. Okay, fair enough. I mean, now I might actually have to cower with h6 or something. h5 maybe as well. This looks really bad. h5, f5, bishop back to h7. He can take here. I mean, I've seen worse positions. It's not saying much. Okay, where are my best swindling chances here? Where do they lie? I don't know. This entire position's really gross. I'm going to try this and hope for the best because I have less than a minute. He just immediately plays g5. Okay, so if queen h3, rook f3, is that his point? I think so. My queen is out of play. Okay, let's castle. I'm fearful of f5, but what can you do? Take. No threats. Okay, let's do this. So at least if he takes e6, my bishop will open up towards e4. Not thinking it's likely he's going to do that. He's probably going to try to maintain this pawn. This is fairly brutal. I think I got to take that. If he takes there, that would be an interesting little pawn structure. Bishop f4. All right. Let's take f5. Maybe I can send my knight into d3 to attack this dark square bishop. Takes with the bishop. It surprises me a bit. Okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to get my queen back in the action with my 23 seconds remaining. Queen over. Threat is bishop g5. Let's go here. Slow down, Conrad. Let me think. Let me think, buddy. My bishop defends f8, at least. Okay, let's do that. Not letting up. Queen e5. Okay, I'm going to come here. Try to play aggressively. You can play bishop f4, but I'm going to go queen f6 then, I guess. I have to play that. So if he moves the bishop, I can at least take and then win his bishop on g5. Not the end of the world. What is this? Okay. So now is he going to move the bishop? But then I can take e7, right? Maybe some chances. Let's try it. I have 6.7 seconds left, so I got to do something. Let's pre-move that capture. I think he might play bishop f4, and then I can go queen over to c5. Ah, very nice. I didn't see that. Very nice. Yeah, this is of course losing now. Maybe has rook f8, bishop d4. Can't play c5 because of knight b5, so I got to do this. Knight b5 is coming. Yeah, I'm going to resign. Or lose on time again. That was nice. Wow. I think he must have calculated that or something. Because he played like this in-between move, bishop f6. So took on e7. And then after rook takes e7, bishop f6. And suddenly I'm hit 3 ways. Beautiful move. I don't think I have a defense here because my queen can't simultaneously defend both rooks in this position. So... yeah, I play too slow. I have a real problem with him, especially when I'm playing black. He's extremely well prepared, and even this sideline didn't seem to faze him one bit. If you play this line for black or white, you can know that bishop takes c4 is acceptable here, because if knight c2, queen takes c2, bishop takes c2, bishop takes f7 mate. So, yeah. I looked at this line a while ago because I was thinking about playing it as a surprise in a tournament, and I couldn't remember if the bishop belongs on e7 or d6. Could not recall. Yeah, once he gets the pawn up to f4, this is a real tough position for me because he's just flooding me, and I felt like this entire game I was trying to hold back the tide of his pawns. So, rough game. Let me close out of this. Let's just see which games are going on here. Quite a few because we got somewhat blown out in that game. Let's watch Dlugi versus Vladi Wizard. Ooh, okay, black wins the exchange. Having faced Dlugi before when I've been up material, I can attest that he is a very difficult player to beat and bring down. Andrew, probably not. I don't think I'll do live coverage of the candidates or anything like that. I might do some recaps if I have time. But the thing about that is... I feel like many people already do that very well. Like every major chess site covers the games. I know it would be kind of neat if I did too, but I think there's something to be said for doing something different than what everyone else is doing. But you never know. Maybe I will. Hello, Tim. How's it going? I am very much looking forward to the candidates. And if you didn't hear the news, the U.S. is hosting the next World Championship. It's in New York. I believe the dates are November 11th through 30th. And we got the bid. So we're going to be playing host to the biggest chess competition of the year, basically. So hopefully, I mean, I say this as an American, but I hope an American qualifies so we have a proper Americanized style world championship in New York City with one of our guys in it. Of course, may the best man win, but I hope like a Nakamura or Fabiano Caruana wins it. How tall are you? Do we keep getting this question? I'm 5'9" or 5'10", somewhere in that range. I think I'm technically like 5'9 and a half. Let's say 5'9", just so I'm not rounding up. Yeah, I'm thinking about going, Coach Amur, because I used to live in New York, so I'm thinking about attending. I think it would be awesome to actually go to a world championship when it's in your country. We might not have this chance again for a very long time, so yeah, I'm thinking about it. I hope Anand doesn't qualify. I'm kind of with you, Sid. Nothing against Anand, but we got to get some new blood in there. Whoa, what's this? Rook takes e5, pawn takes. This should be winning for white. D and G, although it's a little tricky, isn't it? See this? Like, Dlugi was down 1 point to material, but now he's in the driver's seat for this endgame. Yeah, Vladi just resigned. Wow. Let's take a look at this game. Close some of these other ones. So this is my opponent from the previous round against International Master Eric Rosen, I assume that is. And black is up a couple pawns, but white has that dangerous A pawn, which will almost certainly cost black a rook very soon. In fact, he should probably sack for it now because he might not get another chance, yeah. And then king up to f5. Wow, this is intriguing. So king and 4 pawns versus king and rook. White is trying to hustle their king back very quickly. I'm not sure about refusing to take the f-pawn. Now black has to take on f4. Not really any choice. White has great chances to win here, though, because white's king is very close to the action. He's going to try to send his king back and attempt to stop these pawns. That said, it's not easy to stop connected pawns, but yeah, it looks like white's going to take this. King d2, maybe? King d2, try to come over here. If king d2, okay, so he's going to do it that way. Yeah, now king d2. Needs to get his king in position. If g3, king e1, then g2, there's rook g6 stopping the pawn. So here Rosen's going to have to play a king move. King g2, yeah, take f4. This is winning for white. Give a little check on h4, or that move. Yeah, that move wins too. King f1. Brings the king over just in time to stop the pawn. So nicely played. So we are 3 rounds in, and I have, or no, sorry, we're 4 rounds in now, aren't we? I'm 2-2, I think. Yeah, 2-2, playing FM Sir Miguel. All right, let's play an e4 game. So king's pawn, here we come. Sicilian. Oh yeah, let's play a little offbeat variation in homage to the Nimzo Larsen back here. G6 is possible despite how ridiculous it looks. This is completely playable. There's a line that goes e5, knight back, e6, and then you take there. Okay, let's maybe think about doing that. But I think also you can not play e6 here, because I believe e6, knight f6, take f7 is supposed to be okay for black. Last time I checked. So I'm just going to play a developing move. If he plays his knight away, here I think I can play bishop takes f7, king takes, and then win the rook in the corner. I can also play e6 here, but he can go f6. So I'm confused. Take, king takes, check. Ah, no, if take, he's going to play king g8. That's the point. Yeah, that doesn't quite work for me. Still, it looks cool. I kind of want to do it just because it looks so neat. Queen f3 also to consider. Nah, probably e6 is the most principled here, so I'm going to play that. Yeah, now we're going to take. He's weak in this diagonal. Debatable how much that really means, but he may have to take some care because of that. Takes with the queen. So I'll pull the bishop back to e2 or do something else. He's going to take my light square bishop if I don't address it. I've got a dilemma because I want to develop, but I also don't want to cede my opponent the initiative. I think I'm going to play bishop d3. Play it from here. If bishop g7, I'm seriously contemplating going h4 and trying to attack him with h5. Simon Williams style. Send Harry the h-pawn into action. Okay, let's just develop here. So now, do we play h4? Let's try it. This game is already a little kooky, so might as well give it a shot. So I'm playing Miguel Santos Ruiz from Spain, according to someone in the chat. Okay, so I can play h5. Looks like it works tactically. Ah, no. He's going to go e4 take and then f5. Very clever. Very, very clever. That's a cool one. So how do I deal with that? I mean, knight c3, the problem is he's going to play f5 very soon. Bishop b5, he might play a6. You know what I can do, though? Okay, I'm going to do this, and if e4, I'm going to play h6. Oh, he does that instead. Hard for me to predict this player's moves. I don't like it when that happens. Okay, let's play bishop b5. I'm way down on time. I'm down 2 minutes again. Okay, send the knight up into the fray. Depends where his queen goes now. Probably he'll play queen c7, if I had to guess. Then maybe I can play d4 in reply. There's all these pins going on. Queen c7, d4. It's nifty. Yes, this is 9 rounds, just to remind everyone. And I agree, I must play faster, Victor. Thank you for the reminder. Queen e7, wow. I mean, I see the point of this. I'm still going to take. I mean, if bishop d7, I think I can just take. I don't have to get involved with taking on a8. Let's take here first, though. And then let's take here. If he takes with the queen, I can take g6. Is my thinking. So, yeah, now let's just develop. So I actually came away up a pawn out of all that. Let's take here. Let's go queen here, looking for queen c4. Now I'm going to start speeding up because I kind of have to. Let's bring this up. Maybe queen e6 someday would be a nice way to attack. My king is a bit shaky, I must say. I would like to attack him, but it's not going to be simple. Queen e6 could slow him down, but... Okay, let's do this. Attack this pawn. I don't want to go kingside because he can play knight g4 and maybe get his queen involved somehow. So I have to be cautious about how I go about this here. Let's do this. I mean, for the moment, my pawn cover is adequate, I think. My coordination, on the other hand, questionable. I think I'll try to play rook h3 and then rook dh1 soon. Oh, he's going to go for c4. Interesting. Okay, let's give it a check. Pulls the knight back. Well, let's reinforce here. I think that's a good start. Just making sure that he can't sack on c3 so easily. Let's bring this over. Same idea. Could play his queen up to d4. That's pesky. I'm hanging f2. Shouldn't have done that. Oversight on my part. Doesn't take it. Don't know what to do here. I'm going to play this back. I got to defend c3 a bit better, I think. All right, or d1, I mean. I might play g4 very soon if I don't see anything better. Okay, let's go f3. Just try to offer some material to open his king a bit. Probably here, I suppose. This is looking very shaky. Good move in reply. If take, I'm going to go knight e2, is my point. And try to attack his queen and also the knight. We're scrambling like crazy. I could have played queen d5 maybe on the previous move, but he would have taken c2 with check at the end. Okay, so I can do this. This is going to be wild if I could pull this off, guys. So I have very little time. Queen d5, check maybe if he plays queen e3. I gotta do that. I've got my chances here. No doubt. He's getting low on time. We're gonna play an endgame, okay. Very happy to do that. Let's go here, knight e6 is the threat. Let's go here. Try for f4 ideas. Okay. Now we're gonna get check in. Let's play g3, just make sure he can't take there. Let's bring this over. Want to win f5. Would love to do that. Let's solidify. Gonna bring our king up a little bit. Maybe I had knight e6 there. Let's do this. Just look for a swap. If he swaps, I'm threatening e6, which is something I very much like the look of. He can play rook d8. He saw it. Can I do this? I think so. Check. Let's check again. Do I have a win here? Let's take that. Let's go here. Just cut off his coordination between his two rooks. Try to make him pay. We're looking good, guys. I think we're going to win this if we keep our wits about us. Can check with his knight. But I think we're going to escape. Yeah, he resigned. Time scramble. Time scramble once again. Not a great position I was in where I had to defend against a pretty fierce queenside attack with limited time on my clock. Someone said Hikaru was losing and Naroditsky blundered. Let's go take a look at that game. Oh, it's probably over by now. Let's look at this one. Yeah, that previous game of mine, wow. He threw the kitchen sink at me. I have a feeling he could have done better right around the time when he got e3 in. Maybe e3 was actually a mistake. As weird as that seems. Okay, this is a complete draw, of course, as long as black does not get their king skewered to their queen. So draw agreed. Let's close out of that one. Let's check out this one. Thank you. Yeah, glad you guys liked that one. That was a really close call. Thank you, Ryan. Hi, the Nimmy. What's up with you? Having a good night? I agree. Someone said for Blitz you should play more for end games because you get in time pressure. I do get in time pressure a lot. I get in time pressure normally, although it's not nearly as bad as when I'm commentating. The commentary adds this different level of difficulty. And I know I could tone down the commentary and try to play faster, but you know, I'm kind of settled into my ways at this point. So I just try to make the best of it. Isaac, I don't think so. I think Naka would have to do a lot worse. I'm already sitting on 2 losses this tournament, 3-2. It's possible, though. I just want to give you guys heart attacks, Jamie. Just mini heart attacks. That's why I'm playing so slow. Think you can get a win in this little tourney? Well, I've won a few games already, but if you mean, can I finish in the top 3 or something? It's going to be real tough when you got Nakamura, Andreikin, a lot of other big names in. So 4 more rounds here. We're about an hour into the tournament. So I think this tournament usually lasts about an hour and a half to 2 hours, something like that. Black is offering a draw, but I mean, white should play this out. They're up a pawn. Up a pawn in a blitz game. It is drawn, but there are many ways that white could torture black here and maybe make black mess up. Torre 42 is quite a bit higher rated. Okay, so here, if white wants any chance, they have to play g4. And now, I suppose black's idea is they're going to play f3 check. And if king takes... Okay, they're going to do it this way, but black could have taken on h3 as well, I think. If king takes e4, king takes g4. King f5. Still some complications. Knight check, either on f3 or g6, to try to force this black king away somewhere bad. The problem is, white can never advance this pawn without black sacrificing. Now he's going to try to bring the knight to f4 to try to dislodge the knight, but it's looking like a draw. John, when you are playing over the board, do you narrate your thought process to yourself as if you were commenting? No, definitely not. I just have an internal dialogue, just like anyone else. Yeah, I don't I don't sit there and explain the position to myself. You just feel the position and you calculate. This game is over 100 moves. Now Torre is experiencing some mild time pressure, not too bad. Let's check out the standings while we're waiting. Maybe that would be... Okay, these guys just agreed to draw, so probably the tournament's going to start soon. But after this round, I'll check out the standings. We'll see who's on top. This will be round 6. I am JK13. Don't know who this is. JK13. They are white. We're sitting on 3 points out of 5. Kind of feel like playing something different. So let's play e5 this game. Maybe we'll get into a Roy Lopez. Okay, I'm going to play bishop c5. Joko piano. Let's play a6. This is how I usually like to play this line. It's castle. I can play h6 to try to rule out bishop g5, but sometimes they go d4, so I think I'm going to do this. Yeah, now let's play h6. Just stop any funny business. Play d6. I think bishop e6 is the most straightforward here. Let's go rook e8 first, though. This is often the way you want to do it. Put the bishop to e6 so you can recapture with the rook if necessary. And, okay, so common plan for white, knight g3, knight h4, and into f5. I can try to thwart that by playing my knight over to g6, so I think I'm going to do that. Just to make it harder for them to play this. Yeah, d4. I think I've seen this position before. It looks really, really familiar. Thing is, if I play queen d7, he can play d5. But I know there's some theory with this sacrifice on h3. Is this the position I'm thinking of? Maybe it's a little bit different. And I'm not going to tempt it, though. I'm just going to play c6. Yeah, he plays a logical move. Let's play our queen here, just holding e5. And now I might want to play my bishop somewhere like b6, just to ensure that if ever there's a trade on e5, that my queen is also guarding here. So if I had played rook a d8 on the previous move, then I could have ran into issues, I think. a3, so you're trying to go b4? Nevertheless, I'm just going to do this. Okay, now I could think about exploding the center with d5, but I don't know if it's quite time to do that. I might just want to keep the tension for a little while. d5 or even c5. Maybe c5. c5 is intriguing. Let's play c5. This is a really odd-looking move, but I'm kind of curious how it's going to work out. So I'm going to advance and try to attack d4. Push the g-pawn and open the g-file for your king to attack, someone said. I think they're quoting King's Crusher. Okay, bishop into b3 maybe? Looks a little unpleasant for them. Yeah, let's try it. Make their rook move to c1. The only problem is f5 is now weak. You know what? I'm going to go back. I'm not sure I should have done that. I'm going to try to just cover the f5 square for now. Looks like I'm switching up strategies here. Whoa. Where did this come from? All right, well, let's see what happens. Queen e7. Try to get my queen over to help defend. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to try to go queen f8. This is a common sacrifice. You could see earlier in the game I was contemplating it myself with bishop takes h3. But I'm surprised that white went for it here. I didn't think they were going to do that. Okay, so we've got to cover the mate on g7, clearly. If queen g5, I can play knight h7. I would have to defend. I mean, I feel like this sacrifice is not sound, but for a blitz game, it might be all right. Okay, now I could take on d4 and try to open stuff up, but I think I'm better off doing something like this and just reinforcing e5. So that's what I'll do. If h4, I'm going to hide my king. Very likely I'll go king h8 and try to swing the knight up to f4 very soon. My bishop was not well placed on b6, so I think this is a good measure. Okay, clearly I don't want to take, so let's just pull this back and out of the way. I'm going backwards for now, but that's not a bad thing because I'm slightly ahead in material. So trying to consolidate should be all right. Knight h4 would be interesting here. And in fact, that might win a third pawn for them if they do that. They're going to play that way. Yeah, I think I got to get out of the way with my king. So let's do that. They take. Okay, now what to do? Queen f6. Clearly, they've got this bastion of pawns that are ready to advance. So we want to create counterplay. But I got to be careful about how I do that. Take f5. I'm going to take because I feel like I got to get rid of that knight at some point anyways. So I'm going to do it now. Just try to play this position. Wow, I'm really down on time again. Didn't even notice. Probably try to bring the rook over to g8 soon. Let me just pre-move this for now. So I got to hold back these pawns that are inevitably coming after me. That's going to be the challenge here. Okay, let's play b5. I just want to try to undermine his structure right away. Let's go here. Try to stop these pawns. I'm going to switch over a little bit. Let's get our knight up and into f4, and maybe bring this bishop back too. If he takes, I can go knight f4 in between move. That's the plan. Okay, so let's do that. I had rook takes f5. I can still do it, though. Good move here, I think. Knight takes d5 also possible. Yeah, he hung that pawn. That's a very nice pawn for me to win. Really, really helpful. I'm going to pull this back for now. I don't think I need to take his bishop or anything. Let's bring this guy over. Not sure that was a great move. He can play h4 now. Okay, go a5. I'm needlessly allowing his pawns to advance on that side of the board. Yeah, that was really not a good idea. I'm going to go here and try to threaten c4. He sees that. Okay, let's come back. Let's go here. I might sack on g5, assuming that they push g5. This could be just a bad decision, but I'm not sure. Well, okay, let's do it. It's at least going to make the position more active for me. That's my hope. Gain some activity. Yeah, again, not sure this is the correct thing to do, but don't want those pawns becoming a problem. I'm going to try to go rook h2. I have ideas rook g2, rook h2 eventually. So, okay, let's give a check here. Let's play this over. He's got to be careful because there's a lot of mating nets he can fall into. I mean, I could play my rook over. This is going to lose for him as we get check in. And we're going to go win his rook. Let's go up here, attack that bishop. Bring our king up. King's going to waltz all the way up on the dark squares. Nothing he can do about it. I can also take on f3 pretty much whenever I want. I think I'll do that. That's the easiest way to win. Just take the pawn, he takes back, and then we've got a passed e-pawn. So I think this sacrifice is maybe not that great for white. So bishop takes h6 back on move 21 when that was played. But you can see that he got 2 pawns. He had the initiative for a little while. I'm down on time. That probably also encouraged him to do it. And he even was able to get 3 pawns later on. Maybe I should have played king h8 one move earlier, but I didn't want to lose the e5 pawn. So if king h8, I was worried about d takes e5. And then d takes e5, knight takes e5. So that's why I played bishop c7, just trying to give the bishop something to do, defend the pawn on e5. And the coming play, white's compensation hinges on how mobile these pawns will be. So this massive pawns from the h-file through the f-file. And as it stood, I was able to win one of them. I should have played rook takes h5 right, or rook takes f5 right here. I missed it. Or actually, yeah, even right here instead of knight f4. Fortunately, I got another chance. I think I messed around with rook b8. I didn't have to go off on this journey over to the queen side. I should have just kept my forces on the king side, I believe. Bishop takes g5. Controversial move. I just did it to make it easier for me to play. I've got a strong knight on f4, clearly better than his bishop. His rooks are not coordinating very well, and there's some danger to his king. And it paid off in the end. He wound up blundering. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of scrambling this tournament. That's absolutely right. What can I say? 4 out of 6 so far. 3 rounds remaining. So who do we got here? Just watching these games. Dlugi versus Maciek92. Hikaru says in the chat, is it my imagination or is every Dlugi game going forever? That's what I like about Hikaru. He doesn't mind sharing his thoughts, you know? Good or bad. He just says what's ever on his mind. He doesn't censor himself. Yes, Bashar, this is a tournament. This is Titled Tuesday on chess.com. I'll show you the standings. If I can find them. Yeah, here we go. So Andrakin has 5.5 out of 6. Very impressive. Hikaru's got 5. D-Rech has 5. Yeah, a host of GMs up there with strong scores. We're right in there. We're fin it to win it. Number 10. Yeah, maybe I'll get somebody good this next game. I've been playing good players every game, but maybe someone like a GM. Dlugi is now losing He tried, that was a really dirty blitz trick. You see what he tried there, rook a3. Funny thing is even e7 was just winning. So he tried something knowing he's going to lose no matter what. Coach Amur says, how to win strategy from John. Get down to 20 seconds in bad position, win. I take offense to that, Coach Amur, because my position in this last game was good. Yes, I had 20 seconds, but I had a good position. Let's take a look at the final game that's in progress right now. Okay, we're not going to get that chance. JC Barra. All right. Nah, let's go knight f3 one game. I'm trying a little bit of everything this tournament. Whoa, what happened? Okay, knight f6. It showed he had moved, but then it wasn't showing his move for a second. That was weird. Okay, so we got this double fianchetto line. If he castles, I'm going to play d4. I'll play d4 anyways. I'm going to play the Tony Rose special, a.k.a. the Georg Meyer special, on a5. I think I'm supposed to go a4 against this one. Shout out to Tony Rotella. I think you're watching. And yeah, Tony posts standard games here on YouTube. You should go check out his channel. And he's recently played against this line from the white side. Okay, bishop out to f5. Probably knight bd2 is normal. Maybe knight a3 is interesting as well. Try to send the knight up to b5. Knight c3 also could be played. Nah, let's just go knight bd2. This is how you get in time pressure. You start like considering your options, and all of a sudden you're down like very low on the clock. Okay, we're gonna go rook e1. Try for e4. Maybe shut his bishop out. He wants a trade, but I'm not in the trading business. I'm not a merchant, so we're not trading with him. Round 7, important round. If we win this, then we're sitting pretty in the tournament standings. I'm not counting anything yet, though. Okay, queen f5. Where are you going with the queen? Over to h5, I assume? e4, queen h5. It's a little bit of a coffee house style attack, but I see your point. I see you. No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go e4. Just take the space on offer. You could play d5 here. I was thinking knight h4, if I'm being quite honest. Knight h4, knight g4. Let's try this. Knight g4 is interesting, though, because that opens up a double attack here. But I think if knight g4, I can play f3 and just force him back. I'm pretty sure. Do I want to play that? If I play this knight over, then he might go g5. But is that really that bad? I can play knight f5. It's a strange-looking position. f3. f3. Yeah, let's do f3. Kick him back. If knight f6, maybe knight f1. Having my queen defend the d-pawn. I don't think I'm getting overloaded, although it's perhaps starting to look that way. Okay, so again, this pawn is under attack. Knight f1 or knight c4 come to mind. Let's go knight f1. c3 would be an undesirable move, I think, because it's going to block my dark square bishop if I play that. So I'm going to resist the urge to play that move. e5. Aggressive once again. Okay, so if he goes knight into d4, I think I can play c3 and trap that piece. So hence he went back. Now, the thing here is f5 is coming at some stage. So maybe this. This is aggressive, but I don't want to just sit back and allow him to play f5. I'm not sure where my counterplay is coming from if that happens. So I'm going to try to take the fight to him. I think I might have miscalculated something here, though. Knight f3. I'm putting myself in a pin if I do that. Bishop f3. Yeah, I think I might have miscalculated. I think he can take f4 here is the issue. Okay, I got to take here now. And the problem is if I take with the queen, he has g5. That was my mistake. So what to do now with my 26 seconds? G5. Can't believe that actually that's working. All right. We're going to try to get back in the game. Get some piece back in the game. His queen can always come out to e5 if necessary. He's going to do f3. He doesn't want the pawn. Okay. If f2, I can just take it. My knight covers that square. Let's cover the d4 square. I have some outside hopes of trapping his queen with a move like knight d3 coming at some stage. I doubt it'll happen, but you never know. Right now, I'd just like to round up this pawn if I could. Like h3, possible idea. G5, yep. Let's go here. Let's go here. Another one of these situations, guys, where I'm very low on time. Let's guard against f2. I just want to win this pawn. Just let me win the pawn, please. Okay, g4. Got to be played. Can take with the knight. You can take with the bishop, too. Probably bishop takes is best. Let's go attack his queen. Attack g5. Can play some stabilizing move. Yeah, now the problem is the structure could be very bad for me. He's going to blockade on e5. Let's go here, pin him. I got to try to sneak my knight in somewhere, like knight g4, knight f2 to g4 at some stage, but his knight on e5 is a beast. I don't know how I'm going to reasonably do that. Okay, I'm going to try knight c1 to e2 to d4 and try to get into one of these squares. So I don't see any other good plan, quite honestly. So that's going to be our plan for now. Let's go here. I took away the square that my knight wanted to go to. Whoops. Let's go over here. Maybe I'll have to go through a2 to c3. He can play for f5 at some point, though. That's something I clearly should keep in mind. Okay, let's just do this. I'm really low on time. I'm liable to lose on time at like any moment here. Okay, make a move. Yeah, I lost on time. Self-fulfilling prophecy. I just played too slow. Yeah, once again, guys. Yeah, I think I've been taking it to an extreme this tournament, though. Playing on time. Gotta work on that. I mean, this position was bad anyways, so I don't feel bad about losing it. Ugh. Yeah, clearly I could have improved. I think queen h5 could maybe be neutralized somehow, but I didn't figure out how. Like knight h4, he played the knight into g4. I'm somewhat on the defensive here. e5 I think was a good move. I was hoping he would jump into d4 right here, so c3 could be played and I could trap his knight. But yeah, he played the knight back to e7. And this is what really got me. Right here when he took on f4, the fact that I can't take with the pawn hurts a lot because he's going to take my knight if that happens. So this is where I went down a pawn, and it was fairly one-sided after this. I tried g4 before he could play g4 himself, because I felt like if he was able to do that, he would solidify the pawn on f3, and I'd be in big trouble. So I took my chance, but didn't pan out. John, can you please close the door? Does that bug you? The fact that it's like slightly ajar? Hey John, nice game. Have you considered making a Road to IM video about how you improved, what you studied, maybe your IM norm games? That would take quite a bit of work, but it'd be an interesting series. I would consider something like that at some point. Let me go to the standings or the... So who won this one? Hikaru. Hikaru must have just beaten Vladimirovich, or Vladimirovich lost to one of these guys, Hikaru or D-Rech. Can we click on him? Let's watch an existing game, actually. We'll do this one. What was the result of that game? For those who saw. Did Hikaru take him down, or did Conrad? Yeah, Greg's been complaining that he deserves a rematch or something. And he says I'm ducking him, which of course is not true. Greg is quite the antagonist, if you guys haven't noticed. Okay, these last two games, I'm going to try to work on my time management. I'm just going to try to play faster. That might mean a little less commentary in the opening. But losing 3 games on time this tournament is pretty bad. This looks winning for white completely. Yeah, he just defends the g4 pawn, and now he's going to advance the a and the b pawns very quickly up the board. Also hard for black to hold the g5 pawn. Yeah, black's not going to be able to blockade these pawns, especially with white's bishop being able to help out. And bishop e4 and b7. So Torre's going to win this one. Hey John, I've watched all of your fundamentals videos and I've never played chess before a few weeks now, but I'm not improving as much as I would like. Are there any methods or books you could suggest? Just got to keep at it mainly, especially if you're a relatively new player. You've played so few games compared to what you could conceivably play in the entirety of your chess career. So just got to keep plugging away. Play longer games, play standard games, and keep analyzing those games as well. Don't sweat the short-term results. All right, here we go. Round number 8 versus IM Unico. He's got a half point more than me, doing well in the tournament. 4.5 points. Let's try to get a win. Let's try to make it a good game. One factor in my losses on time is the resign button is like very small on chess.com, and it's like off to the side of the board. I don't like the position of the resign button. So that's slightly annoying. I'm going to play bishop f5. This is the slow Slav. And I'm going to play bishop e4. This is a move that I played in London. And then you drop the bishop back. The idea is to induce that move. Let's play queen c7. You induce this f3 move, which is potentially weakening to white's position. Okay, let's play bishop e7, taking a look at this knight here. Usually they decide to take, because I think I can consider knight e4, which I might play. Knight e4, take, knight takes d2, king takes, pawn takes, take here, take. Can't quite recall how that goes. I think I should take here first, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, let's do that. And then I might go knight e4 on the next move to try to attack this piece. He's debating which way to take. Could take with the queen. It's possible. Usually they would take with the bishop, though. That's by far the more natural move. Okay, so we're going to go knight e4. I'm thinking probably yes. Yeah, let's do it. So if knight takes g6, knight takes d2, I'm on the white queen is the point. So it's an in-between move. If I could force them to play king takes, then I can recapture, and white's king is stranded in the center, which should be nice. See how he reacts to this. I'm ahead on time. I can't believe it. Let's take this one. Probably g3 will be played. I could play bishop takes e4, pawn takes, and then contemplate taking on g3, although I think it's unsound. So probably I'm just going to pull my bishop back. Well, there's something to be said for taking on e4, but now let's keep the bishop. Let's just pull back here. Be solid. If knight c5, I would consider taking and then playing knight d7, trying to attack this pawn, and maybe trying to get up to e5 as well. All right. So let's develop. Haven't committed my king yet. Almost certainly I'm going to go kingside, though. Queenside would be pretty risky with white having this half-open c-file. White's spending a lot of time trying to figure out what to do. I wouldn't say the position is anything unusual yet. Maybe bishop b4? That move comes to mind. That could stall my castling plans for now. I think I would play knight b6 in that case. Yeah, probably knight b6 is decent here. Let's do that. Just defending my bishop, purely. If he takes, I can take with the queen. He might put the knight into c5, but at least then I can safely castle. So no harm, no foul. Going for e5 also very soon is quite tempting. But first I think I need to castle, so let's do that. I wonder if f4 is any good right here. You could try to play that to stop me from playing e5. But the thing is, if I get another move, I don't think I can even play e5 yet, because there would have been issues. Here I'm thinking rook b8, so I can go knight d7 and try to wiggle my way out of this. Just like the game against Conrad Holt, I mean, I got to keep in mind that f5 could be played for white at some stage, but for now, I'm just going to go rook b8 and defend my b-pawn to give myself maximum flexibility. Maybe knight d6 and try to bring my knight up, or knight c8 rather, to come up to d6. Yeah, I'm going to do this and keep the game a little more complicated too. He could play knight a6 here. I can just play rook a8 in that case, though. Okay, so we're going to reposition this knight. Pointed at the e4 square. Maybe h5? b6, of course, could be played too. Let's go h5, just gain a little space on the king side. He's under a minute. Very intriguing situation here. Okay, I'm going to go here. Not sure my rook was really doing much on b8, so I want to go b6, and if knight a6, maybe put a piece in on e4 would be a good plan. Okay, so let's try to do that. Maybe he'll go knight d3 and try to come into e5. I don't know. But I can play bishop e4. I feel like this could be dangerous for him. I know he can take and then take on c6 at the end, but I have queen c8. He's lined up on that diagonal. I'm not sure he wants to risk that with 30-some seconds. So rook takes c6, queen b7 is what I'm thinking. Can almost play b5, but no, let's go here. I didn't drop that, even though it looks like I did. I swear. Knight c5, can I do that? Knight c5 is really nifty if it works. I think it works. It's a nice move. Interference move. If he takes with the knight, I take queen, take c6, check. Force him to trade queens, and then, yeah, I'm going to win the exchange. He's down on time. This is how it feels. Okay, I could take either way here. Either way I want. Let's take with the rook. Looks more combative. He's got to get out of the way with his king now. Yeah, move like that. Take here. b2 is under attack. Very bad for him. Let's go here. I'm going to give him c5. I don't even really want that pawn. If he takes, I have rook d2 check. So that would be awful. Bring this over. Let's go queen into h1. I could have played this on the previous move, actually. I just didn't notice it until now. Okay, let's give a check. And let's come here. So I'm going to try to check on d1 after his knight is forced away. Yeah, check here. He's scrambling. Doing a good job of scrambling. Check. Let's go here. I don't want to trade queens when his king is that weak, clearly. Let's bring this down. Rook f1 being the idea. Check. And is that mate? I think so. Okay. So we did a good job of harassing his king there, and most importantly, staying ahead on the clock. Look at that. I had 52 seconds left when I won this game. That was, yeah, I wish I had this sort of time management the entire tournament. Key moment when he took on c6. Where was that? This move right here. This is something that in a tournament game, I would spend a lot longer deciding whether I actually wanted to play this idea, letting him take the pawn on c6. But in a blitz game, it looked very dangerous for him to walk right into these tactics. It feels like a tactic should be present. Note that if he takes on c8, I have knight c5 check. Although actually he could play queen c6 in that case. So maybe he could have taken on c8. Rook takes c8. If knight c5 or knight c3, yeah, he can block. That might be all right for him. But even if take just rook takes, he's still in the line of fire, and maybe my rook can come into c2. It's a little nebulous even still, but again, just trying to be more practical in these games. Glad you guys enjoyed this game. Cool. This is one of my pet systems. I really like this line, these slow Slav lines. I enjoy playing those. Let's see what we got here. Last round is coming up soon. There are 3 games in progress. Let's take a look at the standings before we move on. Okay, Hikaru won again. He's leading by a half point. And Vladimirovich and D. Rech both behind with 6.5. We got some separation in the late stages of the tournament here. Yeah. Where am I on these standings? How many points do I have? Can't even recall. Okay, here I am. I have 5 points. So I'm down here with some of the also-rans. We're not having a terrible event, but we're not competing for first place or anything. Lots of GMs in the mix up there. Couple FMs with 5 points, but the cream really rises to the top here this Title Tuesday. It's pretty much exactly what you would expect. Hey, John, could you expand on why your queenside pawn structure is better than I am Matia Nikita near the end game? Well, as I was saying in that game, Chris, that was what, round 2 or 3? Round 3, I think. In that game, I had pawns on a4, b2, and c3, and my opponent had pawns on a5, b6, and c5. And that pawn on b6 in particular is a weak pawn. Black just has an inflexible pawn structure is how I would characterize it. Here, let me pull up a game so we're not just staring at a blank board here. But yeah, black has an inflexible pawn structure there, and that's what really holds them back in that position. There's a game by Ulf Anderson I saw one time. I can't remember who he played, but it was in a pseudo Grunfeld. Maybe someone like Tony can link it. He might even know which game I'm talking about. Where Ulf Anderson ran his king up on the light squares. So white had pawns on a4, b2, and c3, and black had the same structure I was mentioning, a5, b6, and c5. And Anderson as white played like king to c2 to b3 to c4 to b5 and won a beautiful game that highlighted the inflexibility of that structure. This is a draw so long as black does not take on a4 with the rook and get mated with rook a8. All right, guys, let's agree a draw. Everyone's happy. No draw, says white. Oh, there we go. Now draw. All right, final round. Let's get the fire emojis out for the final round of this Title Tuesday. We're sitting on 5 points. We're going to finish with a positive score no matter what, but we really want to win this one. And I'm playing GM Satoraski. Don't know who this is? If they play E4, you know what's going on, guys. You know what's happening. Ah, another D4 game. All right. This will be the landscape for the final battle. Let's keep the pace up. Okay, let's take E4. Ah, gambit. Okay. Yeah, this is a potentially dangerous gambit, I got to admit. I think I play E6 here. Yeah, E6. And then bishop E7. Is that right? I've had trouble with this line before, so I don't want to jinx myself or anything. H4. Wow. Support the knight like that, huh? Okay. All right, Satoraski. I see you. Okay, let's do this. So if he takes here, I can take on C3 is the idea. Though maybe he could play Queen F3 then. That would be interesting. Albeit probably not what White's going for in this position. H4 is very intriguing. I know that move exists, but bringing the queen out to H5 or bringing the knight to E4 is much more popular, as I recall. Okay, so threat here, also threat on E6. I think I have to play G6 as much as I would perhaps not like to play that move. Yeah, let's do it. And he's going to pull the queen back to F3. Dun, 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 dun. Giving up my dark square bishop would be really bad here. So I think I have to castle and take my chances. Yeah. Because otherwise, if I had to play bishop takes G5, my dark squares would be Swiss cheese. I was not liking the look of that. He can't play H5 here because I can take on G5, so at least there's that. But I would be lying if I said I was completely happy with my king being on G8 here. I really got to review this line. Thank you for the fire emojis. Oh, Brian, don't put that water emoji. Get out of here with that. White is thinking. I think knight e4 is a decent looking move. Yeah, he plays it. Now, I want to go knight b4 and try to get into c2, but I also don't want to abandon the defense of my own king. But maybe knight b4 is not a bad move, because he's going to be kind of forced on the defensive should I do that. Okay, I'm going to try it in the interest of playing fast. I know he can play knight f6 check, but I'm going to take pawn takes and hope I don't get mated on g7. Like maybe queen takes d4 then. I'm threatening knight c2, and I'm also threatening queen takes d4 here. This is a bit of a greedy move. In my experience playing against this line, though, if you can force your opponent to make some difficult decision versus just strictly attacking your king, then all the better. If they just get to attack you in straightforward fashion, you might be in trouble. Okay, what in the world is going on? So he's letting me go check and then take on a1. Really? I mean, I can also play c5 here if I want. No, I got to do this. And then maybe take d4, I'm thinking. Yeah, I can play knight takes d4. It ought to slow him down. Or do I take the material and just say, let's do this thing. Let's do it properly. This is a tough decision. Take d4. I'm going to take d4. I don't want that rook in the corner. Because now I think he's got to take. And I guess he could maybe play knight f6, but probably he will take. No, knight f6 wouldn't be good. I just take, queen takes, and knight b3 check. Should be winning. Wow, he's really persisting in giving up his rook in the corner. I admire this guy's persistence. Check. Yeah, let's check. Discovery. This cannot possibly be good for white. Okay, now I can just take. Because if he pushes h5, I have knight c2, king d1, queen d3. Although then he escapes to f3, doesn't he? But I can play c5, open him up. Or bishop takes g5, maybe? I still believe this must be a win. Okay, so knight c2. Oh no, my queen's going to be hanging at the end of that line. Oh, gross. Okay, what about c5 now? C5 now. It's a lot to figure out with limited time. Take g5 also. Check, check, check. Okay, I'm going to do this. Don't want to spend ages. I'm trying to get the bishop. I'm trying to control the f3 flight square. This is really weird to play this move when your king is on the verge of getting checkmated, but you'll see the point if my bishop actually does what I want it to do, which is control that flight square. I haven't checked him yet. I haven't gone... Oh, did I miss something? Knight c2, king e2, queen check, knight d4. He's kind of escaping with his king, though. It's really weird. Okay, so let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's check here. And now take here. Check. Yeah, let's do that. He can play king g3. He's going to have a decent amount of material. But then again... Yikes. What in the world is going on here? I might have blown this. Gross. Okay, I gotta take, I think. You could take h7 at the end of this line. Oh. Disgusting. Yeah, I think I blew this. And you can take f8. Or play that. Knight check. Yeah, I'm just getting mated, though. No way to stop queen h8. Ouch. Wow. Okay, that was a lot to calculate in a short period of time. He kind of just hacked my king. And I had a bunch of material, but I didn't win. Amazing. So here's the first moment where I thought, okay, I can play this line, knight c2, followed by queen d3. But if I play knight c2 check, king e2, queen d3 check, king f3, I have knight d4 there, but he's dancing away. Still, though, this must be totally winning. On chess.com, it's a little more difficult to add the engine, but possibly this was mistaken. Unless I did something wrong here. I could take here with check, but I thought if I did that, he would just play king over to g3. And my queen would be under attack, and he'd still be threatening mate. Maybe there's some other move here that I'm not seeing, but in this remarkable position, I think I'm losing. The threats are coming in on g7. I've chased his king around, but the only thing I've accomplished is my queen is under attack. I think I probably missed something here. If I'm reading the position correctly. Just looks so normal the way I did it. But yeah, king g3 and too many threats. 2 threats, exactly. Queen takes h7 and bishop takes d3. But even though I'm up material, can't do anything about it. What do you guys think? If you guys can tell me what I should have done to improve. Bishop takes g6. I thought about it, Coach Amur, but if bishop takes g6, just bishop takes d3, right? And then I can take back, but he's going to take on h7 all the same. Maybe somehow that gives me slightly better chances, but... Isaac, I would hesitate to look at the Lichess analysis. I'll probably have a seizure or something. There's no way this works for white. I would just be shocked if white could actually get away with giving up the rook. It's a very interesting idea, don't get me wrong, but it feels too coffeehouse to actually work. I mean, here, knight takes d4. I thought I was making a decent practical decision versus taking the rook. Because I could take the rook, but he's going to do something similar to the game. Granted, at this moment, it might not be that dangerous, but he'll push the H-pawn, and I have a knight that's in the corner far away from the action. This line produces such messy contest, doesn't it? What else could I have done? Oh, this is principled. Hard to say what to do when a bunch of people are in the chat. Cool, Daniel. Yeah, glad you were able to tune in for this stream. Let me just show the standings for the tournament. We probably want to see... Whoops. Didn't want to go to Naroditsky's profile. Just want to see who's competing here. Oh, this is a theoretical draw. Yeah, black cannot win this because the A-pawn is stuck, and this G-pawn is not going anywhere either. Yeah, theoretical draw. Very interesting. So what's the final standings? Hikaru won the event with 8 out of 9. So Hikaru only dropped 1 point or maybe 2 draws. Impressive. Very impressive. I finished with 5, along with some other people. Yeah, D-Wretch got 2nd. That's probably why Andrakin was trying so hard to win this, because he got 3rd instead of 2nd. Very nice showing by Conrad as well. 7.5 out of 9. That's top class. Well, I played 2 of the 3 guys who finished top 3. And I got number 19 down here. I got the participation medal, as Anton would say. I don't know, GR93. It looks like I was greedy, right? But you kind of have to play in accordance with the demands of the position. You can't just generalize about that. I mean, it's either winning for me or winning for him. There's just zero sum. It could be winning for me. I felt like it was. But yeah, that game was crazy. I'll post it in the Lichess chat. I'm going to upload this game to Lichess later and then post it in the chat just to show you guys. Yeah, really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm actually going to wrap up the stream. I'm not going to take questions or anything today. Maybe in a future stream, but I've already got some stuff I got to do tonight as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is fun. And if I have the time, I'll try to do these Title Tuesday streams whenever I can. I mean, it's once a month. It's not a huge time commitment for me, so I'll try to do it and do it live whenever I play them. So thank you once again. As I said, I'll be posting this immediately after, so check for that. It'll probably just take a little while to process, but it'll be up soon enough. We finished with a positive score. Could have been better. We played a bunch of Grandmasters, though. I think we played, 4 Grandmasters? And had a couple good games in there. Got to work on my time management a bit, but that's nothing new. So, hope you guys have a good night. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys again on another stream soon. Bye.